All right, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son Hamashiach, who some call Yeshaya, Yahushua, Yahawashai. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Back to doing this documentary, just showing some of the origins of Hebrew Israelism. We did part 1, part 2 is what we're dealing with here. This is going to be the rise of One West. We kind of went into, the Rabbi Matthews and what was the brother name? Wentworth. We went into that early history, late 1800s, early 1900s, and it being a form, kind of a form of Judaism. Till we get to the point of a split happening between Abba Bivens and Matthews, and even a split happening between not a split, but rather when Bivens end up dying, some say because he was beaten to death. Not beaten to death, but he was beating to the point and he ended up dying because of those injuries. Let me get this camera together. But once he died, and some say, there was a story that saying that he was stabbed, going back and forth with some Muslims. After he died, there was a split there also. There was a power grab, and 3 brothers went their own way and started a school around the street. And this is they kind of started this One West. And that was brother Yaakov, that was Ariah's father, brother Yaakov, Masha, and Ariah. Masha and Ariah. And Ariah was the son of Yaakov. And that's what we see here, Yaakov, Jacob, or something like Shalakia, if I'm getting that wrong. But we'll get it right when we go through the video. Other people will mention these brothers' name. But this is a video of Yaakov teaching, who is Ariah's father.
Well, ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Yahweh dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Yahweh, he is none of his.
Well, ain't that heaven? Your spirit tell you to come to class tonight, don't it? Huh? But if you ain't got it, then your spirit says, I ain't going to that. I'm going over here. Be with these boys. I haven't smoked with the weed.
It's the book of the Israelites.
Now, this is his son, Ariah, here. And Ariah was, they say that he was the fire. You wonder why brothers is teaching and why they screaming and yelling and why they have such zeal. This is where it comes from. All right. You're told to teach. This is what we're mimicking. We may not know that. This is where, the culture actually developed. This is where you got it from. And it's important that you understand this and know this. So, some of the mistakes we see, some of these great brothers make, we don't fall and make it the same mistakes. And we can evaluate ourselves and see where we truly are.
Exodus 4:22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh and Moses, go and say to the Egyptian king, Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son. Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son. Even my firstborn. Even my firstborn. What do we mean by my firstborn? Above all nations that are upon the face of this earth. Give me Deuteronomy 7, 6, and 7. I'm going to let him read for a while, Mike.
Oh, you don't know how to do that, though, do you?
That was Ariah. That was Yaakov first, Ariah. And this is Masha.
I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you how the Lord compares us with the 2 dumbest animals in the world. Get out.
Now the last brother you seen, Ariel, I think he was saying that he was John the Baptist, but they made him King David. This dude speaking now. There was you'll see brothers saying that later in this series. It's gonna be like a 3-part series from where we left off. You'll see that there was a declaration that everyone had to say that this man is King David. The garments and the spikes and all of that stuff in the military aspect that was kind of developed by someone named Lahab. He's still teaching. You can see him at Blaze Judah on YouTube. He still teaches. And that's what I'm saying. This is a very young movement. It's very young, but it need to be chronicled. Just like we got the book of Chronicles and the book of Kings. And this is not the chronicling of it. All right. This is, to inspire those brothers and sisters that were in there to maybe start doing this and detail this thing and get everything situated and get everything correct, so this thing could be documented for these purposes.
Yeah. Now I didn't compare you to this. The Most High compared you to the 2 dumbest animals in the world. The ox and the ass. But one thing about it, we don't have to remain dumb.
This is Ariel again, in the class.
Pearls before swine, why? What's the rest of them?
And give not that which is holy unto dogs.
What's the rest of them?
Lest they trample them under their feet.
Okay.
Lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you.
Right. So if you stand around there trying to convince them and you see they ain't going, they arguing with you and all that, what's going to develop?
We're going to be fighting.
So when they start swinging at you, what you gonna do? You gonna stand there? Huh? So Christ said, rather than going through all them changes, letting it get to that point.
And you see the garments. IUIC are kind of going back to these kind of garments here. One West kind of has it, but not as much. It's not as, it's not as colorful. It's not, with the, different patterns. ISUPK just want to wear black. So it's not as colorful as IUIC is doing with their other garments. Not their long garments that they wear out on Sabbath, but some of their daily attire. I'm starting to see these kind of designs with the leather being integrated rather into like a button down. I've also been asked to make some of those head scarves, and I need to put it up there. I have made some, but I just don't like them. They ain't for me, but I know brothers love them. Brothers love them. Brothers and brothers may bring back the head wraps, the turbans.
And whether it's Judaism, Islam or what have you. And we just try.
And so that first clip was just me, getting y'all familiar with those main 3 heads there. Yaakov, Ariel, Masha, and you understanding that they pretty much like the godfathers of One West Israelism.
Embrace the whole. That's my position of understanding the whole picture and being able to know what they know so that you can have an intelligent conversation.
Did you ever get to meet the late Albert Bivens?
Yes, I did.
So how was that?
Again, great opportunity to know him. He died through Cohen Levy.
Oh, Cohen Levy.
Cohen Levy took me to all these men, wanted me to meet them, and wanted me to see their teachings. That's a
experience.
Wonderful. But what's been greater is that to this day, I know his oldest surviving student. He's over 90 years of age. His name is Elder Ari. Lives in Amityville. I visit him all the time, so we have dialogue constantly, and we even compare Hebrew teachings. So again, there's some knowledge that.
And of course, there was a split between Matthews and Bibbins. Rabbi Matthews, Rabbi Bibbins, they end up splitting. And, students, like he said, I know one of his students, and, what I'm saying, we compared notes of what we were teaching. There was even competition back then. And you'll see that through these videos.
I still exchange with him, and I get from the teachings of the school, which later became, I think what is known as the Tanakh School, and those brothers up. So, no, I know the original teachings and those.
Because, and it's great that we could speak about this, because there's a lot of the schools that branched off of Abba Bibbins, I think sometimes they misconstrue what the man was about. And from all the elders like Nasi Barak, yourself, Chief of Chiefs, all of you guys have met him, and I get a different story. Tanakh School, he used to read the Hebrew out of the scroll.
Absolutely.
He used to, because I believe he studied under Rabbi Matthew.
Yes, again, if he did not, I can't say whether that was actually, but the same school of teachings. You understand? They were founded in Torah and reading the scrolls and all of that. And again,
Did he incorporate the New Testament, or did he just,
I never heard him speak about New Testament. You understand? That wasn't what I heard when I was in his presence. It was Torah.
And the 12 charts, did you see that he have that implemented? These brothers have the 12 tribe charts. Jamaican is Benjamin.
He knew and understood the 12 tribes as all the other teachers had of that day. Based on the Tanakh, there are territories that, when you speak about the 12 tribes, it's not all Cubans, all Panamanians, but Israel is in all of those places. So there's some truth in that, but being able to precisely understand it and explain it and articulate it is what makes these differences. Again, so that's just a fine line. I don't let that disturb, me in any way. I know what is the facts of who we are, because we have been mixed into Puerto Ricans, all Central America. So again, I understand what they're saying.
And I'm glad he said that, like, it's not a big deal for him. He understand what they trying to say with the 12 tribes chart. It ain't gotta be like it ain't totally accurate and all that. It's not gonna let that derail him from dealing with his brother and having conversation, dialogue, and even working together.
They said, we're now going to hear from our elder and our teacher. And he's standing up there and he started talking and saying, and I can prove it with that book you got right there in your hand, And anyway, that was a great experience. I went up there a couple times. One time we were over there and they had the charts up. And they had the charts that said, if you're Jamaican, you come from this tribe. And if you're from Barbados, it's that tribe. And read the book, said, hey, come on, Pop. I said, what is, that ain't right. He said, of course, Danny, I know that's not right. He said, but that's the hook. That's how we get them into place, and we wire them up to what's true. Well, years later, after he passed away, and his sons and all of them, they either died or moved away, the Tanakh School began to teach those things as truth. this is the truth, you know. And well, anyway.
The thing with that is that there's people who say, well, Ariel had a dream in about this 12 tribe chart in this language, and this is how that he came up with it. But you have a few sources here that are saying that Abba Bivens had the chart out before, and Ariel may have developed it a little more. But from what he's saying is that they had it in the Tanakh school, but once everybody split, then they start teaching it. Basically, Arya, Masha, and Yaakov, they start teaching it as it was actually true.
Because Nasi Barak, when I was speaking with Nasi Barak, and he was telling me when he was up there, because Nasi Barak was up there for a few years with Abba Bivens, and he was saying about the Hebrew that they speak now. Everything is shalom, and so he told me that Abba Bivens told him that he was sitting at his table one day studying, at his kitchen table studying, and that a man appeared to him in a gray suit, I believe he said, and told him
a man appeared to him. So he's talking about this holy language, which if you from that One West branch, we call it the Lashawan Kodash. Lashawan Kodash. All right, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Brakatham. All right, we got that instead of saying Haba Hashem, we say Haba Asham. Instead of saying Shalom, we say Shalom. Instead of saying Toda, we say Tawada. Instead of saying Bivakasha, we say Babakasha. Instead of saying Lo, we say La'a. Instead of saying Kin, we say Khan.
That know the way that he was doing Hebrew is wrong, that this is the way that he should do Hebrew, and every...
Let me play that back because it's very important for us to understand.
Bivens, he was saying about the Hebrew that they speak now. Everything is shalom, and so he told me that Abba Bivens told him that he was sitting at his table one day studying, at his kitchen table studying, and that a man appeared to him in a gray suit, I believe he said, and told him that no, the way that he was doing Hebrew is wrong, that this is the way that he should do Hebrew, and everything is just shalom, the way that these brothers speak it. Your Hebrew teacher is, and not talking down, but your knowledge of Hebrew, is that correct? Or, the way that we speak the Hebrew, is that the correct way? Because, people, you said that men had visions with certain things, and they put certain things on you because of those, and those things came through. What would you say about what you've known in the Hebrew studies in comparison to what our brother?
Yeah, I want to say salute to Uzi Liel Leeway. A lot of information came from this brother's channel. He's documented a lot of this stuff. You go to his YouTube channel. I think it's his name, the YouTube channel. He has a lot of information, kind of posts, because he's Torah only, Tanakh only. But he has a lot of information posts, One West, all right, and Ather, commandment keepers, and a lot of that stuff.
Let's do in terms of the way that they speak the Hebrew.
I've had many discussions. Even very recently, I did an interview. It's on YouTube now,
Right.
Under my name, Cohen Mikhail Levy, and it was basically questions concerning just what you've asked me.
Right.
This is the manner I would respond. In the Hebrew language, when you read the ancient Hebrew, there are no niquidot, or the vowels, as we would call them.
Right.
So that there's still, even with the consonants, there's still a pattern of unwritten niquidotes. because you have to have a distinction between the persons or the subjects in the language, whether it's past, present, or future tense. Then as you go to the nif'al and the pl and the pu'al and the hif'il and the huf'al and the hitpa'el, those sounds of those particular binyanim also are distinguished in the past, present, and future tense of those, with a shade or different shades of vowels. You would not be able to know whether or not you're in a particular binyan or you've been in the past, present, or future tense.
Right.
So again, it just doesn't hold true. When you learn the Hebrew language and you begin to speak and you begin to use the language and realize that there are ways within the language, even without the niquidot, that makes these distinctions, the sound patterns. Also, there's a natural, what we call vowel that human beings have, in particular Hebrews. The Europeans taught us A, E, I, O, U. And they say those were the vowels when you go to study. But in our natural tongue, A, E, I, O, U, that's something you just can't get around. A baby makes those sounds when they come in. It's not going to be all the time. So therefore, it's just understanding. So when you go into Aramaic, which is where Ivrit comes from, you have Shemayamai, and you understand, and you have different words that have, again, ends with a ta, but it's not going to be again.
Right.
So again, you got to go back to linguistics.
Right.
And so it just doesn't hold true and being able to do that. And if they were to have conversations with one another, because just to say a word or speak, then you have to look and see, well, where are the communities where dialogue has grown, you understand?
Right.
And what have you. And then time will show whether or not they're able to establish dialogue. If I say to them, okay, say that someone is behind you about to attack you, you understand? You have to be able to communicate, and to communicate effectively. Just studying a language is not being able to communicate in it. You have to be able to distinguish whether you're speaking in the present tense, the past tense, the future tense. In Hebrew, you have a word like the word, let's say, rats. You understand? But now you're running. But if someone is chasing you, you're also running, but you got to be able to distinction. So that's when you got to have sound patterns to be able to distinguish those particular tenses and what have you, and whether you are in a active verb form or passive. So they need to question and investigate in their studies whether or not all of that holds true. And that's how I would say it, that again, as we have dialogue, I've had dialogue with those that do. I share my point of view. I always listen for theirs, and I investigate. It just doesn't hold true as I go in and have gone in my studies and communicating with Israelites. For instance, you can go to Ethiopia, they speak Geese. You understand? And when you speak in their languages, they have sometimes the same phonetic pronunciations of words that we have in the Hebrew language.
Okay.
And amongst the other languages too. No Igbo has No Xhosa has Right. They have different sounds, so you got to go and just you got to be able to differentiate.
Used to teach us how to wear our fathers, you know. I learned that, but I really thought that. Moshe, he used to teach that. Yeah, the way, it's Hebrew, but it's the way of our fathers, you know, like the way of our fathers.
Shalom, how you speak like that.
Yeah, everybody goes, you know.
And again, they talking about the language. Say shalom. They talking about how the language developed. I think this is the brother that told them about the gray suit.
Yeah, The way, the Hebrew, but it's the way of our fathers, you know, like that about the way of our fathers.
Like shalom, how to speak like that.
Yeah, everybody goes, you know, instead of saying shalom, they say shalom, they say barakata, you know. And, you know, it was, you know, Abba told me that he was reading the Tanakh one time, you know, and some man appeared in his kitchen in a gray suit.
Reading the Tanakh one time, you know, and some man appeared in his kitchen in a gray suit.
And so he said, yeah, and this man taught him how to read it. And that's why he called it Derek Abot. But I didn't really like it, you know, but I learned it too, but we don't use it. So because we use Sabadik, you know, that's the kind of Hebrew we speak. Sabadik.
Oh, hold on. I know you're going to comment, but don't take all my fun. Let me just say a little something. Guys, okay, this is so significant. Ariyah, he was the main teacher of the One West School, and he's the one who brought this LQ to everybody, okay? This Lashon Kodash. That many of the camps still speak, even out on the street, right? He claims he received it by a special revelation, just like how he claims he got the 12 tribes chart.
And that's what I was saying. And that can be said because Abba Bivens had done passed. That's how they moved on and they started their own thing. So, you know, they starting over from scratch, just them three. Yeah, I made this up. I started this and I seen this I had this great revelation about the Lashon Kodash and about this great Hebrew that has been lost and forgotten forever. And I found these 12. Found out where the 12 built this 12 chart and found out where all Israel, the lost tribes of Israel, has been scattered across abroad.
Yet you hear this older man who is a Hebrew Israelite who knew Abba Bivens personally say, Abba Bivens says a man in a gray suit appeared in his kitchen. And did you hear what the man said? I asked Abba Bivens, are you sure? And he said, yeah. I thought that was kind of funny.
All you guys that left GMS or got kicked out or whatever the case may be, you guys still call on the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, what you got from us. The spirit didn't come down. Hey, a man in a gray suit didn't come in your kitchen and tell you the Most High's name is Yahweh and his son's name is Yahweh Shai.
So you have here the apostle of GMS, and it's crazy because they hearken on that. If you don't believe his name is Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, if you ain't calling on that name, you ain't gonna be saved. And you know, throughout this series, we're gonna see you know, how strongly they feel about that. And you're gonna hear some things that's probably gonna surprise you, especially those that are under that banner. But what he's saying here is that, you know, a lot of you jokers that done left the camp, y'all still calling on that name, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You still calling, you using your Hebrew name, Yasharallah, Yasharallah. You know, you still saying Kwam Yasharallah. You know, you learned that from us. Ain't nobody, and then he tried to throw a little pun in there, you know, maybe connecting to this information that had been coming out about Abba Bivens receiving the revelation or receiving instructions about this Lashon Kodash by some man in a gray suit. Go back a little bit.
All you guys that left GMS or got kicked out or whatever the case may be, you guys still call on the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, what you got from us. The spirit didn't come down. Hey, a man in a gray suit didn't come in your kitchen and tell you the Most High's name is Yahweh and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. You got that from us and you believed it through faith.
You believed it through faith. You weren't instructed. Nobody taught you, and nobody gave you the reasoning of why we're using this name. We told you the name, and you believed it by faith. You just believed what somebody told you. and you held it to be true, even myself. And you have to evaluate yourself. You know, nobody gave you, nobody parsed that thing out and made it make sense to you. And even if they did, go back and look at it. I bet you it was weak. Because the reality of it is they made it up. And you believe it by faith. So if it's a faith thing, why are you trying to push it on everyone? Why are you trying to just speak in absolutes? If it's a faith thing with this language, why are you talking, well, them people ain't speaking the language, they speaking Yiddish. Why are we having that dialogue when we don't even know what we speaking? And what we're speaking it by faith. Let's just keep it, let's just call it what it is. We ain't got to lie about it. We ain't got to put no juice on it. We ain't got to squeeze no lemon on it. Let's just take it for what it is. You gonna deal with it. We made it up as part of our culture, you know, Kwam Yasharala. So Hebrew, it's a Ebonic Hebrew, it's a One West Hebrew that we speaking, that we came up with. Keep it like that. Nothing wrong with that.
Of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, what you got from us, the Spirit didn't come down. Hey, a man in a gray suit didn't come in your kitchen and tell you the Most High's name is Yahweh and the Son's name is Yahushai. You got that from us, and you believed it through faith that was his name. You guys still keep your same ancient Hebrew names, the Lashawan Kodash. You still say Hebrew words in the Lashawan or the so-called Lashawan Kodash. All right, whether it's made up or not, according to a vocab alone, you got that from us, and you believed it through faith. The way we speak it is based upon faith. Like when you say the Most High's name, Yahweh, and his son's name, Yahushai. Now you got other people that say it slightly different. They'll, instead of saying Yahushai, they'll say Yoshua. Now, could we be wrong? Yeah, we could be wrong, because until you get a...
Yeah, we can be wrong. That's out of your apostle's mouth. Yeah, we can be wrong. We don't know. Other people say Yahshua. And this is why a lot of y'all here, when I give the different pronunciations, you know, just because the reality of it, people have faith in these names. And I just try to, you know, respect them in their belief, because people don't know. The safest thing for us to say is Yah.
Time machine, go back in the time, during the time of King David, or before that, or during the time of Yahushai, and you actually listen to him speak, then you can say, yeah, I jumped in the time machine. Now, could we be wrong? Yeah, we could be wrong, because until you get a time machine and go back in the time, during the time of King David, or before that, or during the time of Yahushai, and you actually listen to him speak, then you can say, yeah, I jumped in the time machine. Now, could we be wrong? Yeah, we could be wrong, because until you get a time machine and go back in the time, during the time of King David, or before that, or during the time of Yahushua, and you actually listen to him speak, then you can say, yeah,
But you know what?
A lot of people were edified by the book, though. It helped a lot of people.
There's some facts in there that's a lot of people don't know,
Yeah, so it was definitely a good book, of introduction to the Rastafarians. What's your other great accomplishment that you accomplished in Israel? See, you're a very humble brother. You don't talk about it, so I gotta let people know. Huh?
No, I ain't got nothing to brag about.
There's nothing to brag about, but listen, every time at the end of camp, at the end of service, everybody says, Kwam Yashala! Well,
Kwam Yashala!
Right, well, y'all say it, but people don't know where that came from.
And you know what?
Where did it come from?
It came on a day that I was walking on 125th Street, and there was a camp in front of the Empire State Building, of brothers, and I was on my way to school. And I went, Kwam Yasharala! And some brothers said, Kwam Yasharala, but them brothers was looking puzzled, man. A brother came to school and I said, brother, what does Kwam mean? I said, it means rise, brother.
oh, Yeshua is Israel, come Yeshua, rise Israel.
Yeah.
And it just went like wildfire, brother. And yo, blessed be Yahweh. I'll always live in those two words.
That's
brother.
right. That's right. Now y'all know where it came from. This is the brother that the Most High used and put the Spirit on to come up with that very simple phrase that has lived on for decades in Israel now. You know, all praise to the Most High. You see camps all over the world saying Kwam Yasha Allah. All praise to the Most High for that, man, bro.
Matthews and them was sitting up in there on Saturday with a sheet over their head praying to the Lord. Bivens was out there battling. He was radical. And when they killed Bivens, then of course it was a whole bunch of power grabbing in the school that Bivens had built.
All right, so he giving a brief description here. He was saying, hey, Bibbins was a little different. When they was together and he was with Rabbi Matthews, they were wearing sheets over their head, which if you look at some of the old pictures, like I said, it was kind of a form of Judaism. They had the sheet. He's kind of right about that. He's saying Bibbins was a little different, and then when Bibbins died, there was a separation those weren't the only three people in Bibbins school. Masha, Yaakov, and Ariah, they weren't the only three people there. But they are the three people that left and formed this one West Israelism. All right. The other students, which your brother said earlier, Michael, the Kohan, Michael Leeway, he was saying that he was speaking to one of the oldest members, which was 90-some years old at the time, of his students that were with Bibbins, and some of the other students that were, so I'm saying they scattered and went and did other things, and then again, you had three that started this one West Israelism, Marsha, and that's what we showed in the beginning.
So, Marsha, Yaquab took.
Yeah, I was saying Yaakov. It's a Yaquab.
Yaquab's son Ariah, and the three of them came around the corner and rented 1 West 125th Street from.
And Marshall, the leader.
Right.
All right, it's Marsha and General Yohana. There was an allegation somehow that General Yohana and them was plotting plotting on this elder. We don't know the situation with that, the allegation with that, but these are some things that we need to clear up. And these are some of the things we say, well, why can't we come together? Why can't all the camps come? Because there are certain beefs like this that are going on or have been going on that brothers, they haven't been settled. They haven't been, brothers haven't hashed these things out. But imagine somebody saying that y'all plotted to kill one of the elders, to take over the school. So this is allegations, y'all. We're not saying that this is true. We just putting out this information so that we can get down to the bottom of these things and correct these things.
Marshall, the leader.
Right.
Marshall, the true leader and humble leader. He had like the spirit of Moses in him. He had a humbleness about him. When he can be around any man, anybody, and flesh with that man in the spirit, whether the brother in a high position or low position.
And they'll follow him.
You would go in the world.
And we seen there from that obituary that he died in 99.
Wouldn't even know that Marshall was the leader. That's how humble he was. And then, but bring out the truth, ISUPK.
That's right.
Your leaders are the one who tried to murder Mo, conspired to murder him.
That's right.
You conspired to murder him. Tell your men that.
Right.
With Lahab in them, you know it.
You said you got facts.
Right, you said you got facts. Tell your men that you conspired to murder Marshall with Lahab and Yashuan and Aharon. And who else? Lawyer. Ariella.
And this is the thing too about certain power structures, and if you're within certain communities or if you have certain leadership and certain boards, these kind of things could happen where people are plotting against you. People are plotting to take you out, understanding that they'll never get into that power. They'll never get into that position unless you are gone. But they'll be so covetous over that position, so covetous over that rank and over the respect and over the finances that you're over, that they'll be willing to take you out. And not saying that that's the case, but just things we need to be mindful of.
Because you would call the seven, not the seven, you would call this Central Command and the administration. That's what you call yourself. And you conspired to murder Marshall. And these were lies. That you're talking about Marshall died 6 months after, and that the Most High killed him. The Most High didn't kill me, died old age, 73.
Then saying the Most High killed him. Wow. Again, this is Marshall. This is one of the first three. It was one of the original three that left from once Bibbin's situation happened. They left and started this one West Israelism.
3 years. It's been the truth for a long time. So this is the facts right here.
Those are facts.
These are facts. Kafem Gabbar, not what you were saying, those are facts. Right. You're a false witness, and the Most High hates false witness. Tazaryak, you're a false witness.
When did you come in?
2003 Tazaryak and 2006 Kafem Gabbar.
Brother, has anyone seen my knife I lost?
All right, y'all, we gonna continue this thing. Again, this is just part 2 of it, and again, we gonna just keep these things rolling. But that was dealing with that Lashawan Kodesh and some allegations that was dealing with that. We'll see y'all on the next one, man. Pray this thing was edifying. Shalom.